everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a wear test for the new Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. I just purchased this and I've heard some fantastic things about this. I've heard some really poor things about this, so I got it because I want to try it out for myself, so that's what we're going to do today. I am going to put this on now and I'm going to kind of check in with you guys as the day progresses and right before bed, and we're going to see how this really performs. Now, in my Ulta video that I actually purchased this in, I mentioned that I had a hard time kind of shade matching in Ulta because they had F1, F2, F3 out and available to test, and then they had the next shade was F6, and F3 was way too light for me, but F6 was way too dark for me, so I kind of took a gamble and got F4. I don't know if it's my exact shade, it very well might not be, but that's kind of what we're working with, so that was unfortunate. It's not, a hit on Makeup Revolution, they can't control that, but it definitely is a hit on my local Ulta because I feel like they fail at numerous things, so I'd like to point them out. No, I just feel like my local Ulta has a really big quality issue, so I'm not super surprised that that was the case, but I have high hopes for this. I'm going into this, like I said, with not so great reviews, with great reviews, so I'm kind of going into this with fresh eyes and really going to see, does this work for me? Because that's what I'm trying to test out, and that's what I'm going to try and tell you guys. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so before I get into this tutorial, I do kind of want to go over the product as a whole. So this is what the product looks like. It is literally the larger version of the Conceal and Define. So it's just, bigger packaging, but similar concept, even right down to the fact that it's a doe foot applicator, but as you can tell, it's much larger than what a regular doe foot applicator would be. So I do like the packaging of this. The actual glass part of the foundation packaging is frosted, and I do like that, but I also wish that you could kind of see the product on the inside from the outside, because I feel like it's especially important with products that go on your face to at least be able to maybe, hold them up. I know it's not the most accurate match, but I feel like that would have helped me determine whether or not this was a great shade. If I was able to hold it up and be like, okay, no, that's clearly way too light, or okay, no, that's clearly way too dark. I know, again, it's not the most accurate way to do things, but it would have made it a little bit easier. So that is, that's just my opinion though. I do like the packaging and it does look very sleek, but that's just kind of my take on it. Now at Ulta, I have my phone up with the information. This is a $12 foundation, and it looks like there are 24 different shades available, ranging from, pretty light and fair to definitely some deeper skin tones and deeper tones. So I kind of do like that there are 24 different shades, and they do have a nice range there. It's not like they have 15 different shades of essentially the same color, because I definitely know that some brands do that with products. So I went ahead and sprayed my Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, chamomile, and lavender on my face already, and I'm going to I'm going to moisturize with the Aveeno Daily Moisturizing Lotion. Okay, for primer today, I'm going to go in with one that I absolutely know I like, so I'm going to use the Becca Backlight Priming Filter, and I'm just going to smooth this all over my skin. This primer I've talked about it, several times, especially towards the beginning of my channel, but this primer is really great for both matte finish foundations and more of a dewier finish foundation. I think it's great under a full coverage foundation, under a lighter coverage foundation. I just feel like this has been able to work with several different types of foundations, and so for that reason I do definitely like it. My skin has been a lot drier lately because it's been so incredibly chilly outside and very, very windy also. I was outside all day yesterday and the wind was just absolutely insane. So having a little bit more of a dewier finish primer kind of just gives your skin more of a glow through whatever foundation that you're using. So this has been really good for me. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with this foundation now and just kind of put it on my skin. I'm hoping that this was a good shade match, but I'm really not sure. One critique that I know this foundation has gotten is the fact that, it's a doe foot applicator, and that's not always the most oh gosh, clean, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Clean way to apply it. I'm just going to use my Real Technique sponge to blend this in. I personally, you know, obviously if you're a makeup artist, you would need to apply this a different way, but just for personal use, it doesn't bother me at all because, you know, my concealer is a doe foot applicator, and really this is just going on my skin. I always know that I have clean skin, or as clean as it's gonna get when I'm putting it on, so that aspect of the of it doesn't bother me. And personally, I think it's a lot better than, you know, those foundations that you like pour out onto your hand and you're just like, okay, well, there's no way that I'm getting a consistent amount of product every time, and I feel like those are just super wasteful. So if I have an issue with any sort of packaging, that's the type of packaging I have an issue with. But as far as this, like the doe foot applicator for this, it doesn't bother me. So far, this is actually blending in really easily, really nicely. It doesn't feel bad on the skin. It doesn't feel heavy or anything. It's looking to be, you know, pretty full coverage, so that's super nice. So I would definitely say so far so good. The shade is maybe a little off, but I think it's blending in really nicely to where it's, you know, I'm making it work. Yeah, so I'm really digging this so far. It's definitely a fuller coverage foundation, but it looks really nice on top of that Becca primer. I don't really see any issues with it so far. Like, it looks really nice on my skin. Like, I don't know if it's picking up super well on camera, but like, I'm really impressed with this on just on first use. And a really problem area with foundation for me tends to be right here. That's the area of my skin that gets the most dry. I know that's, you know, part of my T-zone, but just this part specifically, not even my nose or even further up, just this specific area. And so typically I can really tell if a foundation is super drying or if it's clinging to the skin, that's the area that it's going to cling to, and I'm not having that issue. So I gotta say, I'm liking it so far. I'm gonna go ahead and put on concealer. I'm gonna go in with just the Conceal and Define from Makeup Revolution as well. This is the shade C3. I'm legit almost out of this, and I did not realize that until, this is so funny, I didn't realize that until I went to open it up to just kind of look at the shade and see the difference between this and the Tarte Shape Tape and everything, and I like looked down in there and I'm like, oh my god, there's no product in there. Like, it's like hollow all the way down. So I feel like I went through this pretty quickly, to be honest, but it was my only concealer, so, you know, I was using quite a bit of it, I guess, but I definitely have enjoyed it as a concealer. So I'm definitely going to repurchase that, and I feel like this has been really brightening for me, so I like it. I've already, goodness, I'm sorry to stutter there. I've already talked about that concealer in other videos as well, but if you have not checked out any of those videos, just to kind of recap really quickly, I definitely think it's really brightening. I think the coverage is really nice. It's super inexpensive, and I don't think it creases, and I think it's pretty lightweight while also still being an effective concealer. That has been, in the past, my issue with concealer is that they're too thick and therefore they crease really easily, or you know, as a couple hours as the days progress, they kind of break down and you can see them breaking down, and I don't think this concealer has that issue. So I think it's fantastic for under eyes, but I also think it was really good with the blemishes that I had. I don't have really any problem areas right now, but when I would have, you know, a breakout or something, I think it did a really good job at covering those up. So Yeah, I am really impressed with this foundation so far. So we're gonna see how this wears. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of my face on and check in with you guys after that's done, and we'll see where it's at that point. Alright, so this is my finished look. I used my new NYX Steam palette for the first time just to try and see, you know, what the shadows would be like, and I think I made the look work, but it was a little difficult, so I'm going to continue to test those out, and I'll have a video and hopefully tutorial out with those very soon. But overall, I'm really happy with the look, and even more than that, I'm really happy with how everything is sitting on top of the foundation. I don't think I look powdery or cakey at all. I think that this is all looking very nice, so I'm excited to see how this wears as the night progresses, and I will see you guys in the next few hours. Hey guys, so I am like 5 hours into wearing this foundation. I think it still looks really nice. I think that some of the areas that I have powder on, it does look a little patchy, but I don't necessarily think that that's from the foundation. I'm thinking that's from the way I applied the powder. So overall, I am still quite digging this foundation. As I mentioned in the video, I tend to gather a little bit more product like right here, and it is doing that, but I'm wondering if I were to exfoliate my skin tonight and try this again tomorrow, whether or not I'd have the same effect. So I'm kind of curious how that'll go, but yeah, overall I think this foundation is still looking really nice, very full coverage. It's not breaking apart or anything like that on my skin. So about 5 hours in and we're still going strong. Hey guys, so it is 7:30, so I've had this on for over 12 hours now, and in my eyes, the real test of whether or not a foundation is good quality, sorry I'm messing with my hair, but whether a foundation is good quality or not, and whether it's, you know, gonna be the stamp of approval from Rachel, is whether or not it can withstand a workout and not look like I basically didn't try it all that day. So I just came home from a Title Boxing Club workout that was an hour long. I literally was dripping sweat at one point, like a sweat droplet came into my eyeball and it burned. But alas, like, to get the picture across that yes, I am, you know, really working hard, I still think this foundation looks really nice. I really liked it even before I went to boxing, so I feel like this really just reiterates it. You know, obviously it's worn off to some extent, but really not as much as you would anticipate a foundation to wear off. So really, I think this is holding up great, and I will do one final check-in before I take this off before bed, but seriously, still really, really liking it at this point. Alright, this is the final check-in for tonight. I just took my glasses off, so that's kind of why I've got these little lines right there. So as you can tell, the foundation has, you know, worn off, but as a whole, I'm still pretty impressed with how the coverage has worn throughout the day. I definitely say that it's got really long staying power. It's a full coverage foundation, and it really worked really well on me. I think the shade actually was a great match, even though I wasn't so sure at the beginning, and it's a fantastic price, so you can't beat that. So I've had this foundation on for, oh gosh, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours now, and it's lasted, you know, sufficiently, and that's with a workout and a full day of work. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you leave to stay up to date on all of my latest content, and I will see you guys next time.